There are a number of important issues that the United States and China have to work on. First of all, we've got to create a framework for dialogue. I love the Chinese proverb that dialogue doesn't cook rice. But the reality is you have to have dialogue between the government leaders, and it can't always be formal. The informality of the dialogue between the two countries is not there like it used to be 5-10 years ago. So we need to have more consistent dialogue. Second, we need to have this notion that there are areas where the two sides should encourage not just private sector engagement, but scientific cooperation, educational exchanges. We know how few American students are now studying in China, and decreasing numbers of Chinese students feeling safe to study in the United States. That's a terrible narrative, right? We need to reverse those trends. That comes from government action, but it also comes from civic-minded leaders in both countries standing up to the fact that people-to-people exchanges is good. Incredible innovation going on in China, incredible innovation going on in Europe and the United States, in Japan and elsewhere. We need to work together on making sure that innovation translates into improvements for humankind. And to do that, it means that the United States and China have to figure out a way to have greater cooperation on climate and on clean tech, encourage scientific cooperation. It doesn't mean that we shouldn't protect our national security, but we should define national security in a way that's not an excuse for a trade impediment, right? We will have reasons to protect highly sensitive national security interests. China will have their reasons, but we have to be careful that we don't develop national security tendencies in either country that really are disguised trade barriers. Because we're trying to enhance our own competitiveness at the cost of the other, the zero-sum dynamic. And that's a hard issue to reverse because that has been now the pattern for both countries, and others are involved in this as well over the last 5 to 7 years. So how do we get at that? Governments have the right kind of dialogues, but they don't leave the private sector on the sidelines. They integrate the private sector. I don't think you can have progress unless the public-private partnership is incorporated in a stronger way. So we've got work to do. There are pressing issues. There are always going to be market access concerns. There's always going to be regulatory challenges. There's certainly going to be questions about intellectual property. Those issues are not going away, but they're not going to be addressed by sitting around tables where China and the United States are not at the same table.